Hi traders, and welcome to the weekly market review. I'm your host Paul. Going to look at the S&P, Nasdaq, and some select stocks using wave analysis to try to make some sense out of what the market is doing. So with that, let's get started. We're going to start with the upcoming economic calendar. We have another big impactful week this week. On Monday, you got Fed Manufacturing Index. That'll be have some importance. This one, the Treasury refunding estimates, keep an eye on that one. Watch how the market reacts. That could have a big impact on the market. So watch that one. Tuesday, you got some employment and home price stuff coming out. I don't see anything real big there. The fireworks will start on Wednesday. You got ISM manufacturing and JOLTS job openings. And then the big one is going to be FOMC. So the interest rate decision that, everyone knows that Fed won't be raising or cutting rates. So that 1 o'clock won't have any impact. It'll be the press conference that has the big impact. Now, the market probably will jump at 1 o'clock, even though everybody and their brother knows nothing's going to happen as far as the rates go. But market will still jump. But it'll be the press conference and the guidance that Powell gives that will have the biggest impact. Thursday, not a whole lot. Balance of trade, export imports, got factory orders. Nothing big. And then Friday you do have non-farm payroll, so that'll have a big impact. If it comes in hotter than expected, like it has been lately, I think that's going to really be one of those data points that'll kind of keep the Fed at bay from cutting. So previous was 300, calling for 200,000. So anything substantial above 210, I think that the market won't really like that. And you do have services PMI, which has been super sticky. So another big data point there. So a lot of big data points in the press conference. So, and then on top of that, we do have two more big tech earnings. Amazon on Tuesday and Apple on Thursday. So that'll add to definitely some volatility as we've seen this week. So, all right, let's get on to the charts now. All right, we're going to start with the ES. This is the futures contract for the S&P. I'm on a daily chart. I've got to drill down here. All right, so as I said last week, I thought that this was just a big A, B, C, and we should be getting a bounce. And this is a pretty strong bounce here. So I still believe that this is just the B wave coming up here. And we should be still coming down one more time to at least break 49.63, and then we'll have to see how big that wave down is to give us a clue of what kind of pattern is being made. So for the ES, you're right in the middle. So if you're not in, I don't know that I necessarily would short this, but I think I'd let this play out. If you get a setup, you get a strong sell and then you get a bounce, then I'd be shorting, but I wouldn't short from here yet because I don't know that this up move is done yet, because I don't see, like this is kind of unclear. It almost looks like they're making maybe going to be a running flat here, because I don't see like 5 waves. I see 5 waves actually up to here, and then they gave just this little baby correction, and this is just real choppy, all this price action here. So I could almost see them kind of coming down, because like this will be like the A, this was the B, give a C type of look. and then go up, so something like this. Because this isn't complete. Unless it's like a WXY pattern, like that. Oops. Like this was just a big WXY, and this was 3 waves, and that's 3 waves for a WXY, and then it totally sells off. But yeah, this up here just got really, really choppy. So for the S&P, my base case is that we still go down, but I can't say that like a top is in, like the B wave. That's the B wave. I can't say that yet. So gotta see some more price action to tell us what all this is. Obviously, after earnings of Microsoft and Google on Thursday, market just blasted off, but just kind of consolidated and did make a new high, a little high, but it's still just unclear as to if we got still more up or if this is all the correction. So I'd only be looking for the market to actually go down, but I wouldn't short it yet either. So I think when you get under 49.63, then we can start to look for buy setups. And then when we look at the Nasdaq, really the same thing. And I still got this purple box because there is that slight chance that the Nasdaq has one more up to break that 18,709 high. That's still not my base case either, but can't rule it out. It just seems just very odd that they came right to the bottom of that box. So that's why I'm watching this to see, because if it gets a little bit stronger up here and gets up into this like 18.1, well, basically from 17,990 to 18,151, if it gets up into that range and then just, let me fix this over here, and then it just gives a little correction and then still goes back up, like this will be looking more like they're creating a diagonal, because I just see a bunch of 3-wave moves so far. So, like I said, just like on the S&P, it's possible that's W, this is X, and this is just a 1, 2, 3 for a Y, and now it's going to sell off. So yeah, just like the S&P, need to see a little bit more price action up here, and I think we'll get that. We'll be able to figure this out early next week. With the kind of data that we have coming out, Amazon earnings coming out on Tuesday, I think definitely by Tuesday we'll have a good sense. Now it could be that the market is just gonna kind of chop around here until Wednesday, and everyone wants to hear what Powell has to say, maybe. So who knows? But yeah, my base case is that we still have at least one more down, break that 17,113, and we'll have to see the strength of this down wave to see if that's all the correction, or if this is just the start of a much bigger correction. So yeah, buying, if you're not in, buying here, I mean, you just got to know that if you're buying up here, that there's a chance that this still could be coming down for a while. And if it breaks this, like I said, we could really got to watch, because this could be the start of a diagonal. That could have been 1 and 2. It could be 3. This could be, that doesn't look like a 4. I think this is just an ABC, and this would be an ABC, and then we'll have to see if this turns into an ABC, then maybe that was 1 and that was 2. And then that would be 3, and then you get a 4 and a 5. So then if you're buying up here, you're going to be just holding it for weeks, if not months. So if you're not already in, you might want to just let this play out and give us an indication. If it does, like I said, just corrects a little, but then goes back up here, and then corrects and goes, then that's your signal, because then that'll be a leading diagonal. you'll get a correction, and then that's where you want to buy, and then take it up to go break the high. But buying here is, I think, a little risky. All right, so let's look at some of our stocks that we've been looking at. We'll look at AMD. Almost came down into this 140 range, which would be a pretty good entry place for AMD. So at a minimum, if they're going to go back down and break that 145 low, they should be getting up into this 164 to 176 range if they're going to come back down. Now, because this ABC almost got down, that could be enough for all the correction. You know, because there are three ways and it's deep enough. So AMD could still have one more push up. And so I'd only be looking for the buy setups, because the bigger pattern, and I see this on quite a few, is like they could be creating running flats on a lot of these. And it's going to take months, if not probably a year or two, to play out. But they had this big five-way move up, this ABC, and now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so if they just correct to here and go back up, I think then this is all the B wave. So it'll be A, B, go break 227, you know, who knows how high, but that'll be an ABC for the B, and then you'll come pretty fast down for the C wave, and this whole thing will be A, B, C, and then they'll go back up. So definitely, you know, should go without saying, but you want to be definitely invested in companies like AMD and NVIDIA and Microsoft, because these tech giants they're just too big right now. So just a matter of what entry you can get in at and how much upside they have given the pattern that could be playing out. So I'd only be looking for the buys on AMD, and you know, if it does come back down into here, I mean, this is a great place to take it up, but you might not get that. Like, you do have that three wave move. So yeah, it for me, AMD is definitely only buys, and to be honest, like right anywhere down in here is start to leg in is a pretty good place. All right, let's look at Amazon, since they got earnings coming up. And I'm going to go out to the daily, because this is another chart that the same thing. They finally broke their July 21 high. And this too just looks to me like you got three waves down. And this to me looks like they're creating a diagonal here. And so that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. And now they've completed 5 waves, but because it's a diagonal, we need 3 waves for this fifth and final wave. So I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correction, and if we zoom in, oops, we can see that we've already got 3 waves, and it came right down into the perfect zone. So 1, 2, 3. So it's ready to go and take out its high. So with their earnings coming, I could see Amazon doing exactly like what Google did, and just blow it out of the park. So definitely, if there's any kind of a pullback on Amazon, I think you definitely want to be looking to get long, because I think, you know, at a minimum it's going to go break 189, and you know, I'm sure if they have really good earnings, they could be challenging that 200 mark. So yeah, Amazon looked like a pretty good buy if you, I think, well, yeah, anywhere. But yeah, if they can correct, I mean, I think that's only going to be better entry then. And we'll look at Apple since they're reporting. So Apple, I think, still has to come up, at least up into like 172, maybe up to 77. But then I think it does have one more down. So you got this move down. It should be correcting up and then come back down. And then at that point, it'd be ready to go back up. Because Apple's another one of these that I think, on the bigger picture, they're making this type of a running flat. I've been saying this for a while. But, because I got this WXY and then you got this ABC. Now, this ABC, I think is just actually the A wave of their B wave. It gets really complicated, but because this 5-wave move, I don't think that's the C wave. I don't think it's going to be that's a super ugly running flat. I think that this, oops. Come on. This 5-wave move, if it was going to end, it should have ended more like in the 140s. If this was going to be the running flat, like this was A, this was B, and this was coming down for the C, this 5-wave move should be pushing more down. So that's why I think we're in the B wave, and that's just the A. I think they'll, like I said, correct up, go back down, break 164. That'll be B. They'll go back up, break 199 for the C wave, and that'll be the B wave. And then we'll get the strong down move and then go back up. So that's a very common look that I see on a lot of stocks. I think they're going to be making a running flat. So let's see. So, the other possibility is that Apple won't go and break 199, and they actually are making the C wave, and this is just one. Then I would expect them to come up into like the low 80s for 2, and then come down and give us a 3, a 4, and a 5. And then that would be the running flat. And then they'll go back up. So yeah, buying right here, just got to know it might be a very short-term trade because it might just come up here and get rejected. But it might not be the worst thing because as far as I think when they break 164, somewhere down there, then they're reversing and then they'll be coming all the way back up. So yeah, I'd only be looking for buy setups in Apple. And obviously somewhere down here would have been absolutely perfect because right now you're in a risk-free trade if you could have got it down at like 165. So put that back. So yeah, just watch the price action in this range, 172 to 77, because that could be the rejection point, and it comes down. So with their earnings coming out, that'll be really interesting to see where the price is come Thursday, and then to see the reaction because it could get really volatile. Maybe they're pushing up, and then on Thursday they do a quick spike, and then maybe a couple days later they're starting to come back up. So who knows? But I think Apple might be pretty volatile because it's right in the middle of this purple box, and they're low. And what I'm seeing, I think it needs a correction up. Just a matter of is it coming up here or is it coming all the way up here? But I do think because you got a 5-wave move, I think it needs to come down. So let's see. Let's see what's going to happen there. All right. Let's look at Google. Because this one's kind of interesting because it does look to me like they actually could have I thought they were done last week, but I said last week that all this chopping here, all this stuff, it was just very annoying because it's not clear as to what that was. Well, I think because they're making this diagonal, we needed three waves, and I think they came up here. This must be like some kind of diagonal up to here, like that was the A wave, and then they gave this like ABC and there, and then they came down. That was all the correction, and then earnings, and then boom, they blow it out of the park. But that's a three wave move. Now, that might just be the A wave because obviously that was so strong. There's not going to be any divergence then when it gets that strong. So they might give like just a little correction and then still one more up, but I don't think there's a whole lot more because I've got, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it's ending something. And as it stands right now, if 174 is the high, it should be correcting down for 4, down into this 153, maybe down to 140 range. But I don't even know if the high is in. I think they might just give a little correction, maybe one more up. But I don't think it's going to be like going much above like 180. I kind of find that hard. So yeah, I think Google, you got to be careful if you're already in it. You might want to start to think about some type of hedging maybe with options or something, because I think there's limited upside and a bigger correction will happen in Google, but it would just be coming down for 4 and then still going up. So definitely, if you're already in, I don't know that you need to get out, but yeah, it could be a bigger correction coming. All right, and then some of the people in the Discord group have been trading this Mara, and this is an interesting stock because you got this big move, this big ABC, and as it looks to me, you got an ABC down, ABC up, and then a strong C down. So here's an ABC. So this is in a position where it's ready to go and take out its high. The only question is this all the correction? Because this was a really big ABC. So this ABC could just be the A. They might be doing ABC for B, come one more time down, break 14, and then go. So that's the only question that I have. But I definitely only be looking for buys on this. And then when we look at this, so if you're thinking that this is all the correction and it's going to go and break its high, then it really should. This is very impulsive. So if this is 1, I mean, you do have a 3-wave move down to here, but it really should have come down into this 16 to 17 range. So I think this is just A. That could be B, and then they'll come down for the C wave, and then that would be 2, and then you get a 3, a 4, and a 5. So you'd want it to come down into, unless they're going to make a running flat, which is possible because you do already have the 3 waves, like I said. So that could be A, and then maybe they'll give like a 1, 2, 3 for B, come down hard, but not break that low, that 1751. And then this will be 2. And so that'd be 1, that'd be 2. And then you'll go up for 3, 4, and 5. So I definitely would only be looking for buy setups. It's just a matter of, will it come down here one more, or is this going to... So if it breaks this 2003, then I'd look just for a sharp sell-off. Probably won't come back and break 1751, but if you get it into, I don't know, low 18s or so, I think that's a really good entry then, because then I think you're in a good position where this could be taking off and going all the way up to break its high. All right. And is there anything else? Oh, Tesla we've been looking at. So Tesla, talked about this last week. It's it's right in that range now where it's like, what are they doing? Because you had this big A, B, C that took a long time. So if you're bull, you're saying the 101 is the low, and we're going up, and then you got this ABC, so that could be the start of a leading diagonal, and that's one. And now we've got an A, B, and then 5 wave down for C. So it's always good when they have earnings. Any company has their earnings, and it's pretty horrible earnings come out, and the stock goes up like really strong. So it's always a good sign that people are definitely anxious to be buying Tesla when you have really horrible earnings. So that could be two, and now they're looking good, like they're going to be going up for the 3, the 4, and the 5, and break their high of 414. Just those earnings were so bad that the other possibility is that they're coming to take out that 101. So this 176 to 200 range, I think, is really key, because if they're going to go down, and this is an A, B, C, I could definitely see them like rejecting from inside of this range somewhere. Now they could even go up to 220 and reject from there, but I'd definitely want to watch the reaction when it gets into this 76 to 200 range, because if it's just a 3-wave move and then you start to see some strong selling, this could be coming all the way down to break not only 138 but 101. So I think this is a pretty important range. So we'll keep an eye on this, because we need to see more data. Also, so far we just basically just have one move. I mean, there was this little baby correction here, but it looks very impulsive to me. So I think that's just the beginning of something. And if they correct down, wouldn't it be a bad to take a little stab and see if they're not going to come at least up into this range here. So yeah, I think Tesla has more up, but watch the reaction. If it's just 3 waves and then starts rolling over, you got to really be careful if you're in Tesla. All right, so that's what I see on the market and some stocks. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for your likes and support. Good luck to you, and I will see you in the next video.